everyone, it's Kristen. Welcome back to my channel where we talk about travel and language learning. So as you may know, I do work as a flight attendant. And some people, when they hear that, they tend to think that I've traveled everywhere and know all the good places to go. But the truth is, I've just been going back to Japan over and over and over again. And I don't regret it. I have spent weeks or months at a time in every city that I visited. I've done workaways, I've stayed in hostels, I've done au pairs. So obviously my personal review and opinion of a city is going to be affected by the people that I met there and what kind of organizations or work I was involved in. So let's start with the very last time I was in Japan, which was Fukuoka. I was there for 3 months. During this time, I was doing a Japanese language school. I have a whole review and video talking about that. In this video, I just want to focus on how Fukuoka was to live in. The very first thing I should say about this city is it's fun. There's so many things to do. There's so much entertainment. While I was there, I went to a sort of Battle of the Bands thing and Oktoberfest. And there's a water and lights show at the mall every night. The mall was amazing. It was just fun to be in. It was beautiful and huge. Also, Fukuoka is kind of unique for its night market culture. During the nights on the weekends, they'll have these booths that are all lit up and there's some music and there's food and alcohol. That was always really nice to visit. I went there quite a few times. Also, while I was there, I went on the hardest hike of my life. Barely made it to the top, but it was absolutely beautiful. Also, the people of Fukuoka are just so happy and they love their city. You can definitely tell that when you start a conversation with them. Some cons, I would say, is that it's harder to get to than Osaka or Tokyo. It's not too bad though. Of course, you just need to take an extra flight if your flight doesn't go directly into the Fukuoka airport. For me, that was the case, and I actually ended up taking a Shinkansen all the way from the Kansai International Airport, which was a long trip, and I don't know why I did it that way. Also, Fukuoka is farther south than a lot of the other tourist or well-known tourist areas in Japan. So if you wanted to take a daycation, you know, that's gonna be a little bit harder if you stay in Fukuoka, but you might see some things that other people don't get a chance to. So the next one I will talk about is Osaka. So Osaka is very similar to Tokyo in some ways, that it's a big city and there's a lot to do and it's very lively and bustling and people are very busy. Osaka though, there's just so much to do. The train station is completely overwhelming, but there is a million shops and different kinds of restaurants. Honestly, something interesting around every corner. Another thing I noticed in Osaka that I didn't really see in other cities that I've stayed in is there were a lot of street musicians and musicians in the train station. So you kind of get a sense of the people who live there to be kind of artistic. Also, they have a reputation for being funny. One of my best Japanese friends is one of the funniest people I know, and he's from Osaka. Also, I have never had so many Japanese people come up to me and want to talk to me as they did when I was in Osaka. The people were just so friendly and open and fun. My only cons is that it's very much a big city. You have to go pretty far to get any nature, and I did get lost so many times while I was in Osaka, especially the train station. And sometimes just the sheer amount of fun things to do can be a little bit overwhelming. So if that's not for you and you're into smaller towns, one of my best experiences in Japan was in Tokushima. Now honestly, 90% of the reason for this was because of the organization I was involved with. I was doing a workaway. We were doing a lot of community service and even teaching very small children English, which was unexpectedly fun for me. I usually don't spend very much time with children, but this was a great experience. And maybe it was because of the organization I was a part of, but I found the community there to be so very welcoming. And I had the opportunity to actually be a part of a lot of the festivals that were going on. Also, there was not a whole lot of foreign people there, so I had the opportunity to practice my Japanese every single day. There was some people that didn't speak any English at all, and so it was a struggle, but it really forced me to push myself to speak more Japanese. I personally feel more comfortable in smaller cities, so Tokushima felt really, really at home to me. The only cons I would say is that there's not as much to do in the way of entertainment. While I was there, I often, if I wasn't helping out with the community or teaching the children or some of our various other activities that we were involved in, I would just go to the same coffee shop over and over again or walk along the same trails that I, just kind of got used to and fell in love with. But for me, that was great. I know that's not for everyone though. Also, I'm not sure if it was just my language level at the time, but I had a lot of trouble understanding older people in Tokushima. They spoke very quickly and with their own kind of dialect, so it was a little bit hard for me to connect there, but the younger people I could understand just fine. Okay, last but certainly not least is Kyoto. Right off the bat, let me just say Kyoto is the most beautiful city that I've ever spent time in. Because of that though, all the beautiful nature and all the historical sites, it is more touristy. You are going to get a lot more foreign people there, but that could be a good thing. If your Japanese level is not quite where you're comfortable being out in the middle of nowhere, where no one speaks English, then somewhere like Kyoto would be perfect for you. There's so much to do there, so much to see. Also, it's perfectly situated so that you can take day trips or weekend trips to many other sites in Japan. It's kind of right in the middle. The people who live in Kyoto seem to be very used to foreign people visiting, so a lot of them do speak English or are familiar with it or are just very used to foreign people. This can be a good or a bad thing depending on what you want. For me, I preferred places where maybe there wasn't as many English-speaking people just because I'm learning the language, and so I did want to be forced into a situation where I would have to use Japanese. But if you're an early stage language learner or you just want to go visit Japan, I would recommend Kyoto as kind of a blanket recommendation. It's just beautiful. There's so many historical sites. Also, if you're looking for the Japan that looks like Spirited Away, Studio Ghibli, it's Kyoto. So you may have noticed there is a city missing from this list, and it's true, I have never been to Tokyo. I have heard mixed opinions on how people feel about living in Tokyo, but it's definitely on my list because I do think that I should eventually try it out. So I think that'll be the next place that I go. So I will update you once I do get an opportunity to go and spend some time over there. In summary though, my time in Tokushima and Kyoto have been closest to my heart. Those are the places where I've made amazing friends and have some wonderful memories. So do check those out if you ever get an opportunity to go to Japan. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
見える貝の夕日が沈み消えるまでに行こう葉っぱは揃えて行く先も決めずに歩いてみないかそのね本音を持ち合わせて行けるところまで一人では見えない手探りで進めるわけなく次のステージを見たい手を出していけないか終わりの見えない水平線の先へ行こう日本水を生きて逃げる限りの海が沈む逃げるまで行こう